The only place you'll see these tested strategies together on TV is right here. And joining us now from New Orleans, our newest CNN political contributor, Republican Mary Matalin, alongside our longtime contributor, Democrat James Carville. I want to get from both of you, good morning from Jackson Square. It looks beautiful there this morning, a little breezy. I want to get from both of you your 100-day headline, your assessment. But first, I want to share with you the assessment of somebody we got to know in the last campaign. That is the Alaska Governor, Sarah Palin. She says this of the first 100 days, the former vice presidential nominee. For now, Obama's backpedal on the bipartisanship promise just makes him look insincere. At some point, Obama will need Republicans on his side. He'd be smart to spend his second 100 days making up for the serious snubs of his first. James Carville, does Sarah Palin have a point?
Well, you know, I'd rather go with Senator Lieberman's point, who supported Senator McCain, and I completely agree with him. Without going through a recital of all the accomplishments, the signature accomplishment of this president is we have a restoration of confidence in this country. People are feeling better about the country, and that's a magnificent achievement. I thought that Senator Lieberman did a very good job of bringing that out, and I would prefer to go with his definition of the first 100 days than Governor Palin's.
And what does Mary Matalin think at this point? If you look at the numbers, Mary, this president does have about 2/3 of the American people approve of his job, even a higher number like him as a person and like the imagery of this presidency. What do you think?
Yeah, he's maintained his personal popularity, which is on par with his predecessors, but what he's lost after starting out with record-setting approval ratings, which included a goodly amount of Republicans, a lot of independents, he's lost that support because what he is not is what he was perceived to be in the campaign, a centrist. He's spent more than all of his predecessors since the beginning of this country. He's expanded government, the greatest in 2 generations, so he's not a centrist. He's also not post-partisan. It's not just that he demonizes his opponents, which is old politics. He kneecapped his own guys. He's got Valerie Jarrett is the liaison, your former guest, is the liaison to MoveOn.org, who's running ads against moderate Democrats. He's not a centrist. He's not post-partisan, but he is. Elections have consequences. We lost fair and square, and that's what this debate is about. I hope Republicans can rise to the challenge and oppose him and stop some of this expansion.
Well, I want to talk about some terror policy in a minute, but since you raised that point, Mary, that you lost and you hope Republicans rise to the challenge, I want you to listen to something that your friend and your former colleague in the Bush White House, Steve Schmidt, said the other day about the decline of the Republican Party. Let's listen.
It is near extinct in many ways in the Northeast. It is extinct in many ways on the West Coast. And it is endangered in the Mountain West, increasingly endangered in the Southwest, particularly with Hispanic demographics. And if you look at the state of the party, it is a shrinking entity.
Mary, Steve Schmidt says the leadership vacuum has him thinking they're in the Lord of the Flies phase of the Republican Party. What's the road back?
You know, one of the advantages of age, I didn't think I'd ever brag about this, but I'm much older than Steve, and I've been through this before. And we will come back. The Republican Party brand is irrefutably ruined, but that's because they lost their connection to conviction conservatism, common sense conservatism. We've been here before, and we've come back not only strong, but to ascend to the majority. And there are many, and there's a good nucleus of smart fiscal conservatives, strong defense, back to basics, personal liberty Republicans who will restore the brand and reassociated with conservatism as we know it. Eric Cantor, Paul Ryan, you know who they are. So the advantage of being aged is that you've been through it 2 or 3 times.
James, I want to ask you on this.
You've been down, honey. You've been down.
Yeah. If age confers any wisdom, then you look at our combined age would make us very wise. But look, I think Steve is a very bright guy. He came down to my class at Tulane, of course, and as you know, Speaker Gingrich did too. But I think there's a lot of people are trying to get under the hood of the Republican Party because, as Ross Perot said, it really needs some fixing. And there's a lot of different voices here, and we're going to have to see what emerges. But while all of that is going on, it's indisputable. This president's enjoying a 69% approval rating. He's getting things done left and right. He's got any number of things to deal with. And I think he's off to one heck of a start here, and it's understandable because the Republicans all have a cacophony because they're not doing very well right now.
Mary?
It's not a cacophony. You know, John, can I just add to that? We keep looking, and all the pundits like to look at his top number, which is high, but as I said earlier, comparable to his predecessors. the danger spots for this president, I'm just looking at all the polls, and they're 100% consistent on this. It's an 80% issue that people of all stripes across the aisle are concerned about the rapid and expansive growth of government that this president has ushered in. That's not an old idea, it's not a stale idea, it's not a Republican obstructionism. People just do not like how fast and how far this president has gone. That's an 80% issue. So he may be at 60%, but concerns over the things that he's done so far, and that doesn't even include his foreign policy problem. So, you know, he's got some undercurrents of issues here in his first 100 days.
Let me close on a lighter note, and that is that, James, you are a friend of now Secretary of State Clinton. You were trying to help her retire her campaign debt when she was Senator Clinton running against now President Obama. And the Clinton Campaign Organization, trying to reduce its debt, has put out a letter offering people who contribute 3 potential prizes. One is a day with former President Clinton in New York City. One is tickets to the American Idol season finale, and the third is spend a weekend in Washington, D.C. with James Carville and Paul Begala. Mary, you got the checkbook there?
Oh, well, as you can see, I'd rather be here at Jazz Fest and the Zurich Classic and the Bubba Gump run, and good luck in Washington with your loony lefties.
I don't know.
That's a prize.
You know
What's the second prize, James?
I've always insist with the last 2 words with Secretary of State Clinton in any conversation we have, and they've always been yes, ma'am. So whatever she wants, I'm delighted to do.
James Carville, Mary Matalin, we are thrilled to have you back with us together. We will see you again on State of the Union in the near future. Enjoy what looks like a beautiful morning there in New Orleans.